Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another review and another almost film of the year. Today's almost film of the year comes from 1974, and it's one of the latest releases from Deaf Crocodile. It's described as a Lithuanian rock opera, which is obviously completely up Deaf Crocodile's alley, and it is The Devil's Bride, directed by Arūnas Zebriuanis. Again, apologies to all the Lithuanian viewers for that mispronunciation. This is Deaf Crocodile number 41. This is the deluxe edition. There will be a standard edition coming out as well. Beautiful artwork on just an absolutely beautiful film. As I said, this is almost film of the year. You do get a lovely booklet. And as you can see, tremendous chin beard going on there. Never quite understood a chin beard myself without having a moustache, but then that's just me. So you do get a lovely booklet with it, and again you do get the film too. This will be what the standard Blu-ray looks like, I imagine, with alternate artwork, and you just get internal artwork. This is just an absolutely gorgeous film. It's got that colour that certain fantasy films have, that it's just the reds are so red, the golds are so gold. This has a new interview with Monica Edgar, director Arūnas Zebriuanis' daughter. That's with Dennis Bartok, and that's in English. There's a new video interview with Lithuanian film critic Aiva Suti about the history of Lithuanian cinema and The Devil's Bride, again with Dennis Bartok, of course. There's a new visual essay by Dr. Will Dodson and Ryan Verrill of Someone's Favourite Productions, and again Beth Morris, who does so many great covers for Deaf Crocodile, and does this absolute beauty. This is it's a simple tale. You know, this is Lithuania, but this is very much in the tradition of the Czech pohodky, or fantasy or folk tale. This starts, you know, in just a glorious mountain view with radiant sun, and it's God sitting on his throne, as he does, surrounded by white clad angels with little gold halos, and they're all singing to his glory. But then in the corner of their eye they see a long red table with grapes and wine on it, and some of them are intrigued and they go over, but then of course they get pulled back by God's glory. But then the temptation of some grapes and some wine drives the slightly more braver angels back to the table, including one specific ginger-haired angel who has crazy whiskers himself, and he ends up tempting quite a few of the other angels over to eat grapes and wine and frolic about on top of each other and dance to different music, and they essentially become fallen angels, quite literally, as they fall from heaven and land in a pod. This is based on the I think it is a folk tale about a man who keeps a windmill, and the fallen angel, who, let's just call him the devil for the sake of the title of the film, he now lives in the windmill, and tempts the old man to fall for a woman, and goes around getting people to sign little parchments, to make deals that eventually lead to tragedy and certainly more songs, and more wonderful music. Again, I'm not going to go into the details and all the plot machinations because it's an absolute joy. It is very much like an operetta in the style of Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which I'm not a huge fan of. The Devil's Bride is just on a different level, because obviously the thing with musicals or operettas or films where every word is kind of sung, it comes down to how good is the music, how good are the songs. For example, the sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show, Shock Treatment, one of its flaws, apart from not having Tim Curry obviously, but one of its flaws is, with the exception of a couple of songs, the music and songs just aren't up to snuff. And if you're doing a musical and your music and songs aren't up to snuff, you've got a huge problem, because that's what the whole thing is pretty much hinged on. Whereas there's no fear in The Devil's Bride, from the opening clash between the holy and the fallen angels, taking their white robes off and replacing them with black robes, of course, and frolicking about in the bushes. It's on, and the music is absolutely wonderful. It's about 76 minutes long, which is actually quite perfect. It's a perfect length. I mean, if it was 2 hours, it might just be a little bit too much. I mean, again, it's a simple tale of the devil and temptation and deals, and just beautiful cinematography, beautiful Lithuanian countryside, beautiful horses. Oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And again, this is what Deaf Crocodile do so brilliantly. I had, strangely enough, never heard of the Lithuanian rock opera about the devil, but I have now, and it's absolutely wonderful. It was restored in part by the Lithuanian Film Centre, and it does sound, by the interview with Dennis Bartok, that there might be more Lithuanian films on the way from Deaf Crocodile, and if they're as fun as this, then I cannot wait for that. Yeah, it's based on the book Whitehorn's Windmill, by Kazis Borata, and the music is by Vladislavas Genelinas, cinematography by Algimatis Mokas, of course. Again, apologies for the pronunciation, but this is just, again, I can't really talk too much about the plot because it's a simple plot, but the actual execution of the film is spectacular. I mean, there's an element of Alexander Prishko, which of course Deaf Crocodile have championed and released some of, or quite a few of, his amazing films. I do love a bit of Pushko, and this is in that same kind of ballpark of the look. I mean, the opening scenes, again, on the mountain with God, who's actually asleep for quite a bit of it, so he doesn't notice the first temptations of the angels going to get some grapes, and by the time he wakes up, it's too late. The devil's already taken half of them. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So if you love the Pushko films, as I do, I would highly recommend The Devil's Bride. It is just amazing, fantastic music, wonderful performances, colour cinematography to absolute die for. Again, not a very good review as far as what happens in the film because you need to watch it yourself. But this is an absolute stunning release from Deaf Crocodile, and I would highly recommend it. Again, wait for the standard edition if you don't want to spend as much money, but this is highly recommended. So thanks very much for watching. Please let me know if you've seen The Devil's Bride and where on earth did you see it. Is this your favourite Lithuanian rock opera? Are there other Lithuanian rock operas that you prefer? Please let me know in the comments, and hopefully you'll join me again for almost films of the year, and who knows, there might be a film of the year coming. Samurai in Time might have been eclipsed. So thanks so much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films saying farewell